762 CE and a new city is rising from the desert sands. Al-Mansur, the second Abbasid Caliph, stands atop a hill surveying the land that will soon become Baghdad. He has chosen this spot carefully, far from the threats that plagued the old Umayyad capital. This will be a new beginning, a city to rival any in the world. Over the next few centuries, Baghdad grows into a metropolis of unparalleled splendor. Its streets buzz with merchants from every corner of the known world. In its grand libraries and observatories, scholars pore over ancient texts and chart the movements of the stars. This is the Baghdad of legend, the Baghdad of the 1001 Nights, a city of golden domes and fragrant gardens, the city of poets and philosophers. At its peak, Baghdad becomes a true metropolis home to an estimated 1 million people, making it one of the largest and most culturally significant cities in the medieval world. But time marches on and the world changes. Now it's 1237 and the Mongols are probing at the borders of the Abbasid realm. They besiege the city of Erbil, not far from Baghdad. The following year, Mongol raiders appear at the very walls of Baghdad itself. The message is clear. The Mongols are coming and the Caliphate is in their sights. Years pass by and a new Khan has been crowned. This is Möngke and he has big plans. He dispatches his brother Hulagu on a mission. Destroy the assassins, that shadowy order that has long been a thorn in the Mongols' side, and to bring the Abbasid Caliph to heel. The city represents a true desire for Hulagu Khan. He wants to demolish it as it's a threat to Mongol expansion and a challenge to their power. Baghdad is not just a political center, but a symbol of Islamic civilization. By conquering and destroying it, Hulagu aims to break the spirit of resistance across the Muslim world, and of course, the vast wealth of Baghdad is a tempting prize for the Mongol Empire. The Caliph Al-Musta'sim has been watching these events unfold with growing alarm. Now it's September 1257 and a small group of riders approaches the city gates under a flag of truce. They carry a message from Hulagu, ordering them not to resist Mongol control. Al-Musta'sim reads the message with trembling hands. Fear grips his heart, but then anger rises within him. How dare these barbarians threaten the Caliph, successor to the Prophet Muhammad himself? Baghdad has stood for centuries. It will not fall to these heathen savages, they think. So the Caliph's people mock and taunt Hulagu's envoys in the streets of Baghdad. It's a foolish move, one that seals Baghdad's fate. The Khan gives the order and 100,000 Mongol warriors begin to march on Baghdad. The greatest siege in history is about to begin. Hulagu's army has been gathering strength for years as it pushed westward. After crushing the assassins in their mountain strongholds, the Mongols set their sights on the rich lands of Mesopotamia. Now that massive force converges on Baghdad from all sides. Inside the city, panic spreads as news of the approaching horde filters in. The Caliph's advisors are divided. Some urge immediate surrender, hoping to avoid total destruction. Others insist that Allah will protect them, and the Mongols will not break Baghdad's mighty walls. Al-Musta'sim wavers, unsure what to do. As the Mongol vanguard appears on the horizon, the Caliph makes a fateful decision. He will not surrender. Baghdad will resist. As autumn turns to winter, Hulagu's massive army begins to move. They sack the city of Kermanshah, a grim preview of what awaits Baghdad. Hulagu splits his forces, sending troops to approach the city from multiple directions. On January 16, 1258, the Mongols meet their first real resistance. The Caliph's army, led by the Dawadar, a high-ranking official, sallies forth to meet the Mongol vanguard. At first, it seems like a victory for Baghdad. The Mongols retreat and the Caliphal forces pursue. But it's a trap. That night, the Mongols break the dikes of the Dujail Canal, flooding the camp where the Baghdad army is celebrating. Thousands drown in the sudden deluge. Next morning, the Mongols fall upon the survivors. It's a slaughter. Only a handful, including the Davidar, make it back to the relative safety of Baghdad's walls. On January 29th, the siege begins in earnest. Mongol catapults and trebuchets pound the city walls day and night. The din is deafening as stones crash against stone. The people of Baghdad cover in fear as their mighty fortifications begin to crack and crumble. The Caliph soldiers man the walls, raining arrows down on the Mongol forces. But for every attacker that falls, 10 more take his place. The sea of enemies seems endless. Hulagu directs the assault from a hill overlooking the city. He is determined to make an example of Baghdad. This is about more than conquest. It's about breaking the spirit of the Islamic world. Inside Baghdad, conditions quickly deteriorate. Food starts to run low. The constant bombardment frays nerves and saps morale. Some citizens beg the Caliph to surrender and save them from slaughter. But Al-Musta'sim stubbornly clings to the belief that divine intervention will save them. After a week of bombardment, the Mongols launch their first major assault on February 5th. They swarm towards a breach in the eastern wall, screaming war cries that chill the blood of the defenders. Baghdad's soldiers fight desperately to hold the line. The battle rages for hours, neither side giving ground. The streets run red with blood as bodies pile up in the narrow lanes. Finally, the defenders manage to seal the breach and drive the attackers back. They have won a temporary reprieve, but everyone knows it's only a matter of time before the Mongols break through again. The failed assault only fuels Hulagu's rage. He steps up the bombardment, determined to grind Baghdad's defenses to dust. Day after day, the missiles rain down. Towers collapse, walls cave in. The once mighty fortifications are reduced to rubble. By February 10th, the situation is dire. Multiple breaches have opened in the walls. Mongol troops control sections of the outer city. It's clear that total defeat is imminent. In desperation, Al-Musta'sim finally attempts to negotiate. He sends his vizier to Hulagu's camp, bearing gifts and promises of submission. But it's far too late for diplomacy. The Khan is in no mood for mercy. On February 13th, the Mongols launched their final assault. They poured through the breaches by the thousands, an unstoppable tide of destruction. The city's remaining defenders are overwhelmed in minutes. What follows is a fest of killing and pillaging that will go down as one of history's greatest atrocities. The Mongols rampage through Baghdad, slaughtering everyone they find. Men, women, children. No one is spared, except the lives of Shia Muslims and members of the Church of the East. But this selective mercy isn't because Hulagu's heart has softened. It's due to the influence of his Christian wife, Dogus Khatun. And those were the lucky ones. Hulagu initially promises to spare the lives of those who surrender peacefully. When large groups of citizens come out of hiding, trusting in this promise, the Mongols ruthlessly massacre them. Some try to flee by boat, but Hulagu has prepared for this. His engineers have built pontoon bridges across the Tigris, cutting off all escape routes. Those who make it to the river are ruthlessly cut down. The great libraries and universities of Baghdad, repositories of knowledge collected over centuries, are put to the torch. Priceless books and manuscripts are dumped into the Tigris until the river runs black with ink. Amidst the chaos, Mongol soldiers drag the Caliph from his palace. Al-Musta'sim is brought before Hulagu, a broken man stripped of all dignity. The Khan shows no mercy to the foolish ruler who dared defy him. But Mongol tradition forbids spilling royal blood, so the Caliph is rolled in a carpet and trampled to death by horses. With him dies the Abbasid Caliphate, ending 5 centuries of rule. For an entire week, the slaughter and destruction continued unabated. By the time Hulagu calls a halt, Baghdad is a wasteland. The jewel of Islam, the center of learning and culture for half a millennium, lies in utter ruin. No one knows exactly how many died. Contemporary accounts put the death toll as high as 2 million. More conservative modern estimates suggest around 200,000. Still, one of the deadliest sieges in human history. As the smoke clears and the last flames flicker out, Hulagu surveys the devastation he has wrought. Baghdad, once the greatest city in the world, is now a charnel house. Its streets are choked with corpses. Its grand buildings are reduced to smoldering rubble. The stench of death hangs heavy in the air. The siege of Baghdad is over, the Mongols are victorious, and the world will never be the same again. The age of Khans had begun. The fall of Baghdad in 1258 marks a turning point in history. The destruction is so complete, the loss of life and knowledge so staggering, that Baghdad never fully recovers its former glory. Even today, nearly 8 centuries later, the city still bears the scars of this catastrophic chapter in its history.